All right, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? It's a Tuesday night at about 7 o'clock. I put together a couple of topics to talk with you guys about tonight. Some Bulldogs that have declared for the draft and or that are out of eligibility. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about the dogs that have went into the portal. We will talk about the concerns that I got going into next season. We can talk about any concerns that you guys got, position group wise. And then we can discuss a little bit about the playoff games and the four winning teams. Really excited to actually hear from people in the chat on that, on who they think is going to win this year's college football playoff. Excited to talk about that. So we're still, as a fan base, trying to recover from that licking that Ole Miss put on us. And 225 was in here the other night on the other live a couple days ago and said, hey, you got to go check out Davin Bellamy's post-game film breakdown in the team meeting. And so as soon as I got done with that stream, I did go watch that film breakdown. And my God, as bad as I thought that we played against Ole Miss, it was even worse on the defensive side of the ball. We just didn't look like Georgia, man. And after watching Davin Bellamy's film breakdown, man, we weren't hustling to the ball. We weren't running guys down. We weren't trying to take a chunk out of the quarterback. Guys, we weren't even getting lined up. We weren't even getting lined up on 3rd and 2s. The defense didn't know what the play was, wouldn't put their hand in the dirt. It was shocking and unbelievable. But Davin, he does a good job, man. So if y'all have not checked out Davin Bellamy's channel, go check that out, man. His team meetings are phenomenal. The film breakdown after the games. He put some really good stuff out there. He had a good video today with DeAndre Baker as well. So still trying to get over that, man. But, you got to accept it. You got to be able to move on from it. You don't really get a chance. You don't really get to complain when your team wins 12 games. What's up, DSA? What's going on, man? Man, we're sitting here licking our wounds still, brother. Figured I'd jump on here. We put together some stuff, a couple of topics for tonight. Guys going to the draft, dogs in the portal, concerns that I got position group wise going into next year, and then the playoff games and who we think is going to win the playoff games that are remaining. Really can't wait to honestly hear from the chat on who they think is going to win that Miami Ole Miss game. So we got a couple people in here right now. Who do y'all like, Miami or Ole Miss in that game? Man, that's a tough one. I was going to do a video on what Dog Nation was talking about today. I didn't finish watching Dog Nation's video today. I honestly don't even remember what it was about. I started watching it, but then I had something going on. I had to click off of it. But I'm normally on there all day, every day. I'm always on Facebook too. I don't get on YouTube to comment because everybody on YouTube knew me as Josh Hobbs. And then I don't know at what point this season, but my channel, the way that I comment in live chats, now it says the Governor's Bulldogs. And nobody knows who the hell I am. So, but I've always been on Facebook, Dog Nation chat, live chat as Josh Hobbs. Not a lot of people know about the Governor's Bulldogs quite yet, but, I've been hopping on there commenting from place to place, saying hello. Whose show I really like? It's Dogs HQ. I really like Rusty Manziel's. I really like Randy. I saw you on the other day. I saw you on there the other day as Josh on Facebook because I'll be going crazy on Facebook. I like that comment section up like a Christmas tree. I like Randy too. I keep saying I'm going to do it. Join Randy's premier or premium channel or whatever it was. Randy puts together some badass videos, dog. I really like Randy stuff. And I've always liked Uncle Lou. But Uncle Lou, the bigger he's gotten, the more spread out he's gotten. Like, he used to be a lot more geared toward Georgia. And then it just got so big, which, congratulations to him. He deserves it. But now it's like all of college football. And that's what you're supposed to do. He did what he's supposed to do. But my favorite thing is talking Georgia Bulldogs football. I get on YouTube all day, every day. I got a schedule I follow, man. I'm here to talk about the dogs. So let's get into that, man. We got a couple people in the chat. We can go ahead and kick this thing off. So we're going to talk about first players declared for the draft. We got C.J. Allen, Zach Branch, Kristen Miller, Oscar Delp, and Dylan Bell. All them dudes are declared. Out of eligibility, which means they haven't declared yet, but they're gone. Josh McCray, Cass Jones, Dalen Everett, Noah Thomas, and Ja'Cory Thomas. So those are the guys that have either already went ahead and declared or they are out of eligibility. I can't believe Dalen hasn't declared yet. That's really the only one I'm shocked about. We've got a junior sitting right there on the bubble deciding if he should go or not. C.J. Allen's gone. Guy that plays next to him, Raylan Wilson. That's interesting for me. That one I'm very interested in. I've always liked Raylan Wilson. I thought he played his ass off this year. I thought Raylan Wilson played really good football at the other inside linebacker spot. And I really liked watching him and Chris Cole play that inside linebacker position when C.J. Allen was hurt. But, bro, we have got to stop putting Chris Cole at inside linebacker. Like, Chris Cole needs to be on the edge. As pathetic as we were all season long on the edge, stop asking freaking Chris Cole to do every goddamn dang thing and asking him to cover tight ends and giving him too many assignments. Chris Cole needs to be on the edge, going to get the quarterback on third down. Let's focus on that because our pass rush this season was freaking embarrassing. In the Ole Miss game, freaking embarrassing. You didn't get not a single sack. Not a single sack. The pressure on the quarterback was pathetic all season long. So Chris Cole needs to quit lining up at inside linebacker. He is too good, too talented, has too good of a first step off the edge. He is the only player that we have on this roster that has a good first step off the edge. Chris Cole needs to be on the edge next season. That's it. Bring Justin Williams inside to play with Raylan Wilson. But Chris Cole, we got to get him on the edge, man, and let him do what he's good at. So anyways, the only person in this entire list that we just rattled off of players that have declared or are out of eligibility that I'm sincerely upset to see go is Zach Branch. That's the only player on this list of guys where I look down and I say, damn, man, like I really wish that guy was staying. The rest of these guys, man, and Kristen Miller too. I'm going to add Kristen Miller to that too. Kristen Miller did a hell of a job this season for us. The rest of these guys, though, man, it's time for them to go. C.J. Allen, it's time for him to go. I'm not so worried about the drop-off between C.J. Allen and the next group of inside linebackers that we got coming up, especially if they're going to keep Chris Cole inside, what they're probably going to do. They're probably going to ask Chris to do every goddamn thing, just like Jalen Walker. If Raylan Wilson stays, I will be a lot less concerned about inside linebacker. Zach Branch is the one that's devastating, and I'm not devastated for him. I don't think it's the wrong decision. I think it's absolutely 100% the right decision that Zach Branch goes. Zach Branch was the best player on this year's team. I don't know what grade he got coming back from the NFL scouts, but anywhere second round and up, bro, you have to go. And how much more is Zach Branch going to be able to improve his draft stock if he comes back for another year at Georgia? And man, I'm just telling y'all, if he did come back and he ended up getting hurt, bro, I would feel like terrible as a Georgia fan and as a coach, allowing him to come back and then he gets injured and then he falls from the second round to the fourth or fifth round. You just can't have that. Like, you got to go to the NFL, you need to be able to tell him, man, no, Zach Branch was the best player on this year's team. He needs to go to the NFL. That was the right choice. So while I'm heartbroken about it and I'm sure going to miss him, that was the right choice. Kristen Miller, going to miss him as presence on the inside, run stopping. He got some pressures up the middle this season. You know, he steadily improved as a player. And that's the last of a dying breed right there, y'all. That is the last of a dying breed, non-NIL tainted, want to be a Georgia Bulldog high school recruit. That is the last one going out right there, that class. Kristen Miller. Oscar Delp moving on to the NFL, could have stayed another year. He declared. I'm not upset about this at all. I'm not upset about this at all. Man, I've been watching Oscar Delp for 3 seasons now. I don't know how much better Oscar Delp's gotten from his freshman year until now. I mean, he's certainly gotten better at blocking. I'll give him that. He has certainly improved as a blocker. But there was nothing about Oscar Delp this season that blew me away as an offensive weapon. Nothing. Like, I would rather see Elias Williams, Ethan Barbour, the young freshmen we're getting from Bowden, Riddell. Let these guys come in and show what they can do, man, because tight end, I mean, and it's not Oscar Delp's fault. Oscar Delp did the best he could for 3 years, gave everything he had to the G. He just simply wasn't as good as Darnell Washington or Brock Bowers, which that's no fault of his own. Hell, there's nobody right now on planet Earth as good as Brock Bowers. But I'm anxious to see what Elias Williams can do with the majority of them reps. Wasn't even utilized like that. Exactly, bro. We didn't even use our tight ends at the end of the year. Like, what's been the deal with that the past 2 seasons? Honestly, DSA, the past 2 seasons, we haven't even used our tight ends like that. It took the Georgia fan base having an absolute fit, about to go off their rocker after the Ole Miss game last year, for us to finally use the tight ends against Tennessee. And same thing this season. Like, where were the tight ends at? We scored 3 touchdowns with Lawson Lucky in the first Georgia Ole Miss game. And we don't, dog, Cash Jones had more targets than Dylan Bell and the entire tight end room combined in the Sugar Bowl. That makes no sense to me. He said Bobo is a joke in that department. I don't know what's going on. I'm not even going to try and defend that. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, let's keep talking about these guys. Dylan Bell. I'm going to miss Dylan Bell as well, but at the same time, it's like, how much productivity were we getting out of Dylan Bell? Dylan Bell was crazy, man. Crazy to watch. I mean, when he popped in 2023 on the road in Knoxville, I was astounded. I was like, this guy's going to be a superstar for us. Running the ball, catching the ball, throwing touchdowns. What happened to that guy? What happened to that guy on the road at Knoxville up in Tennessee? Because I want that guy back. Tight end are extra receivers, especially off the edge going down the seams. Think of how, Bennett, Bennett wasn't scared to go over the middle now. I agree with you. We didn't throw him the ball enough. Absolutely did not. Absolutely did not. Bro, the last play of the game on offense going against, no, it wasn't the last play, but when we were trying to score a touchdown on that last drive towards the tail end of that Sugar Bowl, why did we not throw a pass up to 6'10" Elias Williams? We're trying to hit Lucky in the back of the end zone. And even throw it close to him either. That thing was out of bounds. All right, let's talk about the out of eligibility guys. Josh McCray. McCray came in and did what he was supposed to do, bro. As far as getting players out of the portal last year, that one hit. They said we needed a short yard back to come in, be able to get us 3rd and 1, 4th and 1s, 4th and 2s. He did that. He did that for us now. I'll give him that. He got a bunch of 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts this year for us. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole on this next one, but I'm happy as hell Cash Jones out of eligibility, dog. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. I wish I didn't feel that way. I really do. But every time Cash Jones got trotted out there, anytime the past 2 seasons, man, on 3rd down, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. Like, why are we in a position at UGA, the school with the best running back legacy in the history of the SEC? Why are we down to needing to use Cash Jones as a 3rd down back? Why are we to that point? How do we not coach up a scholarship running back that can do something else besides pass block on 3rd down? Why are we that down bad at running back? Why are we to that point? And it didn't get rectified for 3 seasons. So it's not Cash Jones's fault that I was unhappy to see him get trotted out there the entire game against Ole Miss. Where's the other scholarship running backs at in this program? Like, how did it come to this? And the running back room. Like, next year, bro, if Frazier or Bowens get hurt and we're down to just one of them, we're in trouble. Man, we got to get better at freaking running back too. While I went on a tangent the other night on receivers, I went on a tangent multiple times the past 2 years about running backs on this channel because ever since Gurley, Chubb, and Michelle were there, it's been a steady decline. Slow, steady decline. And it's so slow and it's incremental. Every single season, our running backs get a little worse and a little worse and a little worse, and it's almost unnoticeable. But once we got past the point of James Cook and Zamir White, and we were on to, who was it, Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards, I was like, hey, what's going on with the running back room? Because these guys don't have no game-breaking speed. Swift was good as hell. I love DeAndre Swift. Kind of popped and broke that tendency. If he wouldn't have got hurt in 2019, you're absolutely right. But when he got hurt in 2019, that kind of ended his season, DeAndre Swift. But man, that room right there was loaded. When we had Todd Gurley, Keith Marshall, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb. The year after that, we got Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift. Like, man, we don't have no dudes like that no more. We don't have a running back on this team with home run speed that can break a 70-yard run besides Peanut. That just don't make no sense to me. How we fallen off that bad at running back. But yeah, the last good one, and I agree with you. They're good, but they're not elite. None of them guys after Dejon Edwards, Kendall Milton were on the level of Swift. Absolutely not. And James Cook, Zamir White was good too. But guys, let's be honest here and look each other in the eye. James Cook at Georgia was not what he is now in the NFL. The dude could not stay on his feet when he was playing running back at Georgia. Could not stay on his feet. He goes to the NFL, all of a sudden finds some balance. He's the best running back in the NFL this season. He's really improved. I'll give him that. He improved and learned how to play in some cold weather. So hats off to him. Salute to him. Nate Frazier can bust a 70. No, he can't. Bro, Nate Frazier has no breakaway speed, bro. None. If Nate Frazier could bust a 70, he'd have done it by now. We would have seen it by now, bro. Nick Chubb's first ever game in 2014 in Clemson. First game as a true freshman. Busted a 60. Sony Michel, you saw right away, had game-breaking speed. DeAndre Swift, first ever time he touched the ball on the road at Notre Dame. Took it for 30. Nick is bigger than Nate. Hell yeah, Nick's bigger than a lot of people. Nick is also faster than Nate, too. A lot faster. Nate's not fast. He's quick, but he is not fast. He does not have game-breaking speed. And Bowens has, I don't know what it is that makes him better than Frazier, or at least in the middle of the season, because he wasn't at the end. I don't know what was going on with Bowens. That's another, Kirby Smart mystery injury rabbit hole we'll never know the answer to, is what the hell was going on with Chauncey Bowens at the end of this season. We will never know, bro. The Kirby Smart injury updates throughout his career as Georgia's coach is like the 9/11 files, brother. We will never know the real story of what was going on. If Nate can get right, I can see him breaking one. How do you get faster, though? Like, how much faster can you really get in the off season? I'll give it to Nate. Guys, I will give it to Nate. At the beginning of this season, I was screaming mad. I was like, Nate Frazier has not improved since last year. That was going all the way up until the Alabama game. I was mad as hell because I thought Nate was going to get a lot better. I don't listen to Kirby when he gives updates. I still listen to what he says. I don't believe him. He's been Kirby's been telling us Chauncey Bowens is 100% healthy going all the way back to the Georgia Tech game. All the way back to the Georgia Tech game. He's 100%. He could have won if we needed him. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. There was a point in time this season, Chauncey Bowens was our best running back. I don't know what happened with that. Kirby told us he was 100% healthy in the SEC championship game. He got one carry to put the game on ice, went for 13 yards and had a back spasm immediately after he got tackled. Had to get helped off the field. He said, yeah, that's what I mean. I don't trust him. I don't trust him either when it comes to injuries. All right, so after Cass Jones, Dalen Everett. Dalen, in 2023, I hated Dalen Everett. He would not turn around and find the ball in the air. Dalen got better and better. At his moment in the sun when he won MVP in last year's SEC championship game. The Longhorn killer, Dalen Everett. Played big, man. Played big when he had to. I thought he had 2 in that game. It might have been. It might have been, yeah. Because he had an interception and a forced fumble in the first one. I was mad at him, too, for that. He never turned around. Dude, when Georgia was playing Missouri in 2023, I was screaming at everybody, all the stands, everybody in the stands was screaming at Dalen Everett because he was in position every time. He wouldn't turn his head back around and locate the football. So he was constantly getting PIs or the wide receiver was making the catch. Dalen ended up being a good corner for us, man, these past 2 years. 2023 was rough. He took his bumps, took his bruises, got better, and he played at a high level for us the last 2 seasons, especially in big games. I'll give him that. So thank you to Dalen Everett for everything he did. Noah Thomas, that was a bust. I'm calling it like I see it, man. That guy came in and was 6'5", was Texas A&M's leading wide receiver. Came in and he might have had 4 or 5 touchdowns for us. Couldn't have had 300 yards receiving this year. That one didn't hit. I don't know what happened with that. And now it's in the past, but that one didn't hit like we would have wanted to. Ja'Cory Thomas out of eligibility, so he'll be moving on, trying to make an NFL roster. You know, I thought he played well for us at times. It was the injuries, man, being in and out of the lineup. I mean, he wasn't the damn best safety we ever had, no doubt. But, I mean, I felt like he was getting the job done. But other guys, I forgot. I never even remember seeing him play at A&M, to be honest with you. When it got announced last year Noah Thomas was coming, you know, I had to look up his stats and everything like that. Like, he wasn't no eye-popping player at A&M that I can remember either. And he damn sure wasn't no eye-popping player for us. He did his thing, though, in the Texas game and in a couple of games. He might have got hurt at the end of the year. Again, the Kirby Smart rabbit hole with injuries, we'll never know. But he didn't play hardly at all against Georgia Tech, hardly at all against Bama, and I don't know what happened with the Sugar Bowl. So he'll be moving on as well. So Raylan Wilson, man, Raylan Wilson's one I'm going to be looking at real close at inside linebacker to see if he stays or goes. I hope he stays. I think he's right there on the bubble. I think he could go and get drafted and be a good NFL player. But I also think if he came back, you know, some more development for him. You know, I think Schumann does a great job with linebackers. I really do. So I think another year back for Raylan could be really good for him. He might be able to, you know, earn himself a first-round draft stock if he comes back. So we'll see. All right, let's talk about dogs that hopped in the portal. I only wrote down the ones that we are going to know. All right. Bo Hughley. Is it Hughley or Hughley? Bo Hughley hits the portal. The reason this one is so interesting for me, why would Bo Hughley get in the portal if Monroe Freeling and Ernest Green were going to the draft? Like, he was next man up all year long. If one of them 2 guys was out or couldn't play and Gaston wasn't having a good day, we always went to Bo Hughley at tackle. So why would he get in the portal if Freeling and Ernest Green were gone? That's just something that makes me think Freeling and Green are going to come back. I hope they do come back. Both of them guys, their entire career. Ernest Green, when he came back in this year for the old game, he played his ass off from that point on. I would like to see him put together an entirely healthy season. Both them guys, man. Both them guys, when they're healthy, are good players. I would love to have both them guys back. But I'm inclined to think they are coming back, because why else would Bo hit the portal, knowing he's the next tackle up? All right. This one hurts. Roderick Robinson, number 0 running back, had that first touchdown against Alabama in the SEC championship game. He's going to Carolina, South Carolina. So we will be seeing him next year. And then Daniel Harris got in the portal. That's number 7 cornerback. Played early on in the season, got beat a couple of times. I'm sad to see him go as well, because he could have been a good player for us. And in that corner rotation, we rotated 3 guys all year. Dalen Everett, Ellis Robinson, and 15. I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. And I can't think of his name right now either. I'm having a brain fart. 15. Who's 15, guys? Got beat on the last play in the Sugar Bowl. Anyways, Daniel Harris could have been in that rotation with them guys next year. So I'm sad to see him go. I think Dinkins is going to be good for us at star next season. And the guy that we just got out of Clemson at the safety has got to hit. We have got to have 2 good safeties back there next season. We're going to have KJ, but we got to get another safety that's big and can come up and stop the run and can cover. All right, we're moving on here to concerns that I got for this team going into next season, talking about position groups. First and foremost, edge rush, man. Outside linebacker, players that can get the quarterback on the ground. Pass rush. Man, I'm getting so sick and tired, guys. Georgia being damn near last in the SEC in sacks. Like this is madness now. This is madness. This has been going on for. I used to make videos back in the 2018. Georgia Rely, DeMello Jones, 15. Yep, DeMello Jones. He could have rotated with DeMello Jones and Ellis Robinson next year. But it's all good. I don't even think Daniel Harris has traveled with the team the past couple of road games in the SEC championship. So he was gone. But back to concerns. Edge rush, man. Edge rush. Pass rusher, dude. Why? At a school like Georgia with the elite pass rushers that we have right here in this state, man, we don't have to go 70 miles outside of where I'm at right now in Marietta to get some good edge rush guys. Like, why are we struggling so bad to sack the quarterback? It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I've been on this with this Kirby Smart defense going all the way back to the 2018 season. When you get hands on the quarterback and you can sack the quarterback, there's a high chance that you might be able to get him to fumble at the same time and get the ball for your offense right there. And that is just such a big deal in today's game. And we saw having no pass rush all season killed us, man. Killed us. Kirby's sitting there wondering why our third down defense isn't good. Man, a little bit of pass rush would help. The wide receivers in today's football are too damn good to sit back there and ask your corners to cover them for 6 or 7 seconds. That's too long. You have got to get these quarterbacks on the ground. The ones UJ goes for are taken already. But the ones he's getting have got to be coached, and that's on the D-line coach. See, I'm trying to figure out who is coaching our edge rush guys? Is it the outside linebackers coach, or is it the defensive line coach? Because the main guys that have been edge rushers or pass rushers for us since Kirby's been at Georgia have been outside linebackers. They haven't really been classified as defensive line. We've got Quintavious Johnson coming back and Gabe Harris coming back. Man, them guys got to get better. Them guys got to play meaningful snaps, be able to get after the quarterback and seal the edge next year, man. The Gabe Harris thing hurt us after going back and watching that game again. We could not seal the edge. Lacey was getting around the edge all game long. That did end up hurting us, but we've got to get some pass rusher guys. Got to. Whether it's developing guys that we already got, letting Chris Cole just line up at outside linebacker, edge rusher, and do his thing. Let him specialize at that. Let's get Chris Cole really good at one thing before we give him everything. Because I think we started him out at everything. And now he's okay at most things, but he's not elite at any one thing. A couple of times he got to the quarterback this year, got his hands on him and couldn't finish. Got to finish if you get there. Defensive line depth. Defensive line depth. We used to be able to just rotate defensive line in and out, in and out. And the second string guys that came in were every single bit as good as the first string guys that came in. I don't think that's the case anymore. With that said, this year the defensive line was young. We think they will get better. I think Elijah Griffin's going to get better. If Xavier McLeod comes back, I think Xavier McLeod has played. I think Xavier McLeod at points of this season and especially at the tail end of last season was our best interior defensive lineman. I think we've got some guys that are okay. We played the run well. I'll give the D-line that. We played the run much better this season than we did last. We got to improve upon that. So, yeah, I do think they will get better, but losing Christian Miller hurts. Like, he was the leader. He was the alpha on that defensive line. Is Jordan Hall coming back? Has anybody heard anything about that? I should have looked that up. He might be coming back because of that injury. That's one player I have not heard anything about was Jordan Hall. So I'll be keeping my eye on that big time. If Jordan Hall comes back, I'll feel better about it. Nobody yet. I haven't seen nothing about Jordan Hall. This one's obvious. I've been complaining about this. I'm going to continue to do so all off season. I'm going to be on this one all off season again. Wide receiver. I'm sick of watching Georgia play equal to competition and getting outplayed at the wide receiver position. How much longer are we going to have to go without a 1,000-yard wide receiver? Like, man, in today's college football, you've got to have receivers that can go out there and make plays. We have got to be able to threaten defenses downfield, and we've got to have a quarterback that is willing to throw the ball deep to our wide receivers. But they got to get open. Like, we need a burner. We need a big body that can go down the field, get open, create separation, and catch the daggone football. From everything I've heard, Georgia staff likes the receivers that we got on campus. But my whole thing is how many years, especially recently, especially since 2018, 2019, how many times have we seen freshman receivers come in and dominate right off the jump? Yeah, Georgia doesn't want any. I mean, at this point, I don't give a damn what they want. I'm sick and tired of watching Georgia get outplayed by Ole Miss at the wide receiver position. Bro, why? Why does Ole Miss have better receivers, better edge rush players than us? How is that possible? Like, there's no excuse for why we should be getting outplayed by their wide receivers and by their edge rush guys. No way. We got more budget, more facilities, but supposed to have the better coaches. You got out-coached. There's no excuse for that. None. You're telling me that the Ole Miss fan base drums up more money for Georgia, for money for paying these guys? Like, how is this happening? That needs to be investigated by the coaching staff. Talking about they did a self-scout from the Alabama game to the Sugar Bowl. You need to self-scout that. How the hell are we getting outplayed by Ole Miss's wide receivers? How is Ole Miss year in and year out getting way better wide receivers than us? Them boys were out there making plays, y'all. Like, it was a straight-up highlight reel. Number 2, Wallace feasted on us all night long. He was the second best player on the field behind Chambliss. Like, how much longer is this going to continue? How many more times are we going to get matched up against Bama and Bama have the better wide receivers? Like, why do we just give away these advantages to other teams? It's like playing chess. and you start playing right away with your queen off the board. Why? Why does Tennessee have better wide receivers than us? Why? It makes no sense. Why Georgia can't bring in wide receivers? Saying it like you're telling me that Ohio State's recruiting and ability to pay players is that much more than Georgia's? Ohio State's already legacy for wide receivers. So they're really living off that. Like just how Georgia sends linebackers to the NFL over and over and over and over and over and over. Ohio State's been doing that with receivers. Bama has too. But, dog, there's no reason a school like Ole Miss should have not just a little bit, far better wide receiver play than UGA. And this has been going on for years. This is going back to Kirby's first season when Hugh Freeze was the head coach. Ole Miss. Georgia goes out there to Ole Miss. Kirby's first year in 2016. Ole Miss's wide receivers are dunking on our defensive backs then. We got blown out 46-14 when Hugh Freeze was the coach in 2016 because Ole Miss's receivers were taking our corners to the woodshed. How much longer is this going to continue? If you would have taken Zachariah Branch off this year's team, imagine what our offense would have looked like. Sit there and think about that for just 1 second. If another team would have got Branch out of the portal instead of Georgia, what would this year's offense have looked like for Georgia? Dog, it would have been bad. We would have lost way more games, not 1 or 2. 3 or better if we wouldn't have had Branch. We got lucky and blessed to get Zach Branch for this year's football team. I see it like this. If UGA can't get receivers, got to get way better or more development out of the ones we got. See, man, I wanted James Coley's ass up out of here after last season because leading the country in drops, there's just no excuse for that. But then Coley signs 2 5-stars and a bunch of 4-star receivers last year. And I think the staff's looking at it like we can't get rid of them after that, after he just brought in all them guys. And the receivers were better this year. Like, I'm not trying to be like all negative here because Georgia said they were going to run the ball better and stop the run this year. Georgia did that. I went crazy talking about the O-line and the wide receivers have got to be much improved this season. Georgia went out there and did that. I talked about Nate Frazier has got to get better from his freshman year to the sophomore year. He went and did that. I thought Gunnar Stockton played better at the quarterback position for us this year than Carson Beck. Georgia did that. So there's a lot of positives here too. I'm just saying, like, this wide receiver thing has got to get addressed, bro. Like, you have got to adapt. We talked about in the last video. I watched a Kirby Smart coaching clinic where he's up there on a whiteboard. He's drawing up all his defenses, going all the way back to his days at Florida State, all the way up to current. And he put on the video board the Ohio State, the 2014 Alabama versus Ohio State game, where Ohio State put up 40-something points on Kirby's defense. And Kirby said, this game right here in this Sugar Bowl where Ohio State beat us was the game that made me realize I have to adapt right now as a coach or I'm going to get left behind. And basically he talked about having to go from bigger players in the front 7 that are able to stop the run to smaller players that can cover because teams were starting to spread everything out and throw the ball more. And linebackers, outside linebackers, them guys were going to have to start making plays in space. And that's when Kirby changed his defense to a lot more of what you see out of our mint defense today. I meant to say better DBs. I think our DBs are solid. I think our DBs are solid. We got to be able to counterpunch some type of way. We got to be able to score the ball better than we have, man. Like, we improved from 2024 to 2025. But, dog, 2024 was horrible. We were 15th in rushing, 15th out of 16 teams in the SEC in rushing in 24. There was only one direction to go was to get better this year on offense. But, yeah, we got to be able to counterpunch, bro. We've got to have threatening players on offense. Because now, check this out, y'all. You take away Branch. Branch has gone to the NFL. Who do other teams have to game plan for in this upcoming season? Who on our team right now on the offensive side scares the shit out of defensive coordinators and is going to keep them up game planning extra time? Dude, I can't think of any. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to down the guys that are there. Bro, when people were going against Gurley, back when Gurley was at Georgia, he terrorized defensive coordinators and defense. People were afraid of him, afraid to line up across from him. Because every single play that dude could take it to the house. Pickens, you had the game plan for Pickens. Bowers, you had the game plan for Bowers. Yeah, and I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just pointing out ways that we can get better. Bro, I've been watching Georgia football really close since Kirby's been here, but going all the way back to the 2011 season, the first season that I started watching every single game. And I've been watching Georgia football for so long, and it's like at these positions right here, dude, edge rusher and wide receiver, this has been going on forever. And it's like, how much longer are we going to have these weaknesses, these deficiencies in our team? And it just continue. Like we're at like 15 years of this going on. I've been watching since 01, 02. The only reason I know anything about the 02 team, there's a badass documentary about the 02 team on YouTube that covers the entire season. They go behind the scenes in the locker room. They're at practice. There's a badass 2002 Georgia Bulldogs documentary on YouTube. It's fascinating, man. I love watching stuff like that. The 2002 documentary Georgia Bulldogs is awesome, man. Awesome. If you have not seen it, go watch it. But yeah, man, it's just like, I think DJ Shockley was on that team. If he was a freshman. If he was a freshman. Because you had Green. Yeah, because you had Green there. They were splitting time. That's right. They were splitting time. They were bringing Shockley in here and there like Kirby did with Fields when we had Fromm. So we just got to get better, man. Edge rusher. Wide receiver. That safety from Clemson. That dude's got to hit, bro. Got to hit. Defensive line depth. Like, I'm a little bit concerned, but I was concerned this offseason. And they proved me wrong. So, all right, we've been going for 42 minutes. Let's hit on these playoff games real quick. And then I'm going to bounce up out of here tonight. We ain't going for no hour and 40 minutes tonight. Thursday, we got Miami versus Ole Miss. Friday, we got Indiana versus Oregon. I'm going to live stream both those games on the channel. So I'll be here Friday night, and I'll be here Thursday night as well. Y'all can show up, say hello, talk about the games. I'm not going to lose my mind and go crazy like I did in the Sugar Bowl. That's a problem, dude. I don't know if I'm going to be live streaming Georgia games in the future because every year I say I'm going to calm down and I'm going to handle myself like a mature adult and not lose my mind watching Georgia football, and I lie to myself every year. It never changes. So I don't know. That's something I got to work on. All right, Miami versus Ole Miss. Who do y'all think has the edge in Miami, Ole Miss, man? Like, this one's really got me stumped. Because I think Ole Miss's offense is so damn explosive. I think Ole Miss is going to score. But Miami's pass rush and defense has been balling. Like, they are the best unit. They are the best unit. DSA thinks Ole Miss. Miami defense has been the best unit in this playoff so far. So I honestly, I don't know. I don't know who to pick in that game. And there's no team I'm really rooting for or pulling for. Like the whole SEC wanting the SEC to win something narrative. That's a joke. That's out the window. 2 years in a row. Man, I can't even talk shit. I'm not going to try to defend it. What quarterback has Miami seen that can move like Chambliss? Shit, the one from Texas A&M. The one from Texas A&M, and they jacked him all up that whole game. I wouldn't say, man, I don't know. Buddy from A&M was balling this year too, and Miami put clamps on him. Miami put freaking clamps on dude. But, I mean, I think Chambliss is playing better right now. I can't think of the quarterback at Texas A&M's name right now. I really cannot think of what it was, but he was balling this season, but he was not playing well at the end of the year. Really, from the South Carolina, if they did that, they might have a chance. From the South Carolina game on, let me see what the hell this dude's name was. Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed was balling this season. All right, bro. If I don't see you, have a good night, and I'll see you Thursday. Marcel Reed was balling at points this season, but from the South Carolina game on was trash. He was not playing as well towards the end of the season. Miami's defense put clamps on him, bro. So I think Chambliss is playing at a higher level than Marcel Reed was, but I'm saying they're comparable. Like, they are comparable. Marcel Reed could scoop. He was hard to get down. Miami did it. So that's a tough game. I'm not going to make a pick right now. And again, like I said, there's not really a team I'm rooting for in that game. Like, yeah, I want Ole Miss to win a little bit because they're the team from the SEC, but I don't hate Miami. I don't hate Carson Beck. I've got a lot of respect for how they've been playing on the defensive side of the ball. One of my best friends is a Miami fan. He ain't never won shit his entire life. So, I don't have a dog in the fight on that one. I've given up on the SEC, wanting them to do good in bowls, man. All that's out the window. The SEC was trashed in bowl season. 2 years in a row, the Big Ten kicked our ass when it comes to bowls. I'm leaning towards right now, though. Shit, I'm leaning towards Ole Miss a little bit, y'all. I'm leaning towards Ole Miss a little bit. Guys, Ole Miss only ever lost one game this year. One. They beat everybody they played. They lost to Georgia on the road in Sanford Stadium. Georgia was on their heels, had to win. Must-win situation. And Georgia barely beat them. Georgia barely edged them out. Home crowd really helped them. I think Ole Miss is damn good, man. They beat a damn good Georgia team in the Sugar Bowl. I shouldn't doubt Miami, though. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Ole Miss right now. All right, Indiana versus Oregon. Indiana. Every time I doubt Indiana a little bit, I get proven wrong and slapped in the face and told I'm an idiot by them. Every time I freaking doubt these dudes, Indiana proves me I'm wrong. Oregon in rematch games under Dan Lanning's been terrible. Terrible. I can think back to Washington and Kalen DeBoer was there, beat them freaking twice and beat the hell out of them the second time. Ohio State rematch last year, they got swept off the field in the Rose Bowl. Indiana beat them at home this year. Like, Dan Lanning ain't been good in these rematch games. And Indiana has shown me all season long the most consistent football team. They dog walked Bama. They beat the absolute hell out of them Alabama boys. I've got to go with Indiana, man. I've got to go with Indiana. I'm leaning Indiana heavy. I like Dan Lanning as a coach. I like Oregon. I think Oregon's got a good football team. But Indiana has showed me repeatedly all season long that they are the best football team in college football. That's going to be an interesting game to watch. I'll be thrilled if Dan Lanning and Oregon can go out there and do it. I'll be thrilled. I'll be thrilled for Dan Lanning. But I just think Indiana's better, man. They're just more sound, more consistent, better fundamentals, and they proved me wrong time and time again. And that the rematch thing with Oregon gives me room for doubt. I don't know. Dan Lanning just ain't been good in these rematches. Like, I think back to the Washington one was bad. Washington beat him in the regular season, turns right back around, beats him in the college football playoff as well. So I'm going to go with Indiana. Leaning Indiana and leaning Ole Miss. All right, guys, we done covered a whole lot in this video. Again, we talked about the NFL draft. We talked about Raylan Wilson still being up in the air. We talked about dogs in the portal. We talked about Ernest Green and Monroe. Are they coming back? I'm leaning towards yes, because why else would Bo Hughley get in the portal? We talked about other portal players leaving. We talked about concerns for position groups, defensive line depth, wide receiver, safety, edge rusher, need to get some pass rush. So we done covered a lot in this live. I will be back to live stream the playoff games on Thursday and Friday. And we're going to keep this thing going, bro. Like, I don't know what we're going to talk about this offseason because I'm not going to cover recruiting. I refuse to let 18-year-olds and under play with my freaking emotions. I'm not going to do it, especially when they might never even wear that G. They might transfer portal before they ever put on that helmet and play it down for the G. So I'm not doing it. I'm not. We'll talk about something, but we're going to keep these lives going. We're going to do one live a week. We can hop on here. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Past games, past players, future hopes, any of it, man. Any of it. But we'll come up with something. We're going to be going live all off season, though. I appreciate you guys watching, man. Y'all have a good one. Go Dogs. I'll see y'all Thursday night.